Welcome back to Redbeard RPG and Pillars of Eternity 2. We were sailing to our next quest that I was planning on doing, but on the way we got approached by another ship that has a symbol that looks like a variant of the Lady of the Keys insignia. Let's investigate. My thoughts precisely, Aloth says. Trying to set up for the next episode to start off efficiently and surprise along the way. Oh, everyone's dead on this ship. Interesting. All right. Get the loot, of course.
No problem.
Looks like everything we can grab. Let's check this out. A fragment of essence quivers near a corpse. Most of the soul seems to have departed already, but the spreading and fluttering piece remains. It throbs with panic, even standing this close raises your pulse. As you let it wash over you, the terror thins your blood, the heartbeat becomes galloping hooves. You fight to keep yourself from vomiting with fear, if only to avoid the noise. This was supposed to be a quick trade run up to Nekataka, out up to Nekataka and out in a few days. But you get lost in the fog, and the next thing you knew, arrows were flying through. So you hid here between some crates where it's dark, where the screams on the deck were just a little quieter. You thought the pirates were the greatest danger for merchant ships like yours, but the shrieking warriors butchering your crewmates didn't seem to like the pirates. One of them is up in the rigging, painting some kind of symbol on your sails. Light spills into your hiding place, and Anima Warrior, one of the Huana, you think, stands over you. Foreigners shall corrupt lands no more. You're looking up toward the glare and the Anima silhouetted against it, where the pain lances through the base of your skull. Okay. Well, Aloth is curious
Did you
about
find
what's happened.
something? You have that look again.
There were merchants killed by Huana who said something about foreigners corrupting their lands.
Well, that's a start. I found some unusual stains. I don't think they're blood, but they are rather odorous.
Koiki pulp.
So it is. But what would that be doing here?
Wakai hunters smear themselves with it. We're near their island, Ori O Koiki. That's actually where we're going. We're trying to recruit these guys to help the queen out.
I've heard they're aggressively isolationist. As for what that has to do with the leaden key...
Yeah, kind of hard to say.
At least we know where to look next.
All right.
I only wish we could find another hapless initiate with a spare hood.
All right.
Uh-huh.
What do we... Well, it looks like the Painted Mask quest line takes us to where we're going anyways. This right here. But since we're right here, might as well take the loot. There's a loot on the shipwreck as well. Oh, I literally had nothing on it. Well, that's disappointing. Okay, looks like the dock is away from the actual town itself. Take that fresh fruit. And some water. And then in we go. All right. Where's the journal? We were coming here for the Fruitful Alliance. Yeah, this quest line. Let's look around and see what we find.
Right.
That symbol. It looks like the one we saw on the abandoned ship.
Interesting.
That's a great idea.
Now, with these guys being known for being isolationists, we should proceed with precaution. A young woman steps up on the edge of the cliff, peers down Wearing an amused grin, she fingers the curve along her hunting bow.
You keep turning up like a chipped Izada.
Something keeps drawing me back to Ori O Koiki, I say.
Don't let Awata hear you say that.
Oh my.
You went into the jungle for animal hides, I say, and found yourself in an empty clearing.
What?
Akira, the clearing was empty, I say. You asked no questions. You turned around and retraced your steps back to your ship, where it was safe.
Look, I just want to talk. Can we talk?
Not if you cannot listen. If you came to blunt my teeth with chatter, try to keep it short.
Can I enter?
No. You think I stand here for my health? Only the Wahaki are allowed on Ori O Koiki. You have a familiar complexion, but you are an outsider all the same.
Okay. I bring an offer of an alliance with Queen Okeza II. Her bearing abruptly straightens and she regards you anew, taking you from head to toe.
We remember the old compact with the Nekataka Queen. Do you have her treaty words?
Over crumbling mountains across blighted seas.
Akira, the Queen must be desperate to send you, I say. Rasare will be expecting you inside.
Okay.
Seeing as you've earned your way up from nuisance to guest, find me if you feel like trading.
Excellent. Okay, so that's an option. What's off in this direction? Okay, let's take a peek. Considered stealing. Considered stealing. I was standing on top of it. Infested Koiki. Still edible, technically.
Just remember, if you die horribly, I can always revive you.
What's this? Rocky outcroppings pepper the face of the cliffside. You can make out the shape of stones ruined high above. The terrain offers an abundance of hand and footholds, though the length of the climb would extract a heavy toll and effort strain. Scouting for a secure passage could help mitigate the task. Study the cliff. Eder squints up at the rock face and points at dangers which elude you now. You note the crevasse, which would otherwise have proven useful foothold on the journey up, is home to bulbous and pesting nests of wasps. You don't know no other dangers of significance. Let's climb up. Let's see. You begin the climb, alternating your attention between your footing and less obvious dangers. You narrowly avoid the crevasse supporting the wasp nest and continue your ascent. You come upon a ledge that commands a cliffside outcropping, look like it could support an adult's weight, though it would take a nimble outdoorsman to plot a safe course. Well, we have one of those. Eder. After scaling the cliff with a mountain goat's clarity, Eder waves down at you, signals up the optimal path. You make for the summit of the cliff, painting the exertion and grateful to find yourself once more on stable ground. I'm assuming this is just like the alternate way into the city. Yeah. In case you haven't got the quest line for the queen yet, but you end up here anyways, you can still get in. Okay.
With pleasure.
Bulls bursting a flute with ripe koiki. It looks like rousters attendants stock it regularly to keep pace. Oh, we have an option to place that blighted fruit on top of the pile. Let's leave that alone for now. I don't know if we want to poison him or not. A broad-shouldered woman on the throne lifts her gaze to meet yours. White face paint adds a grim aspect or stoic demeanor. Smoldering braziers fill the air with oppressive heat, when she sits at ease.
Her face paint. You don't suppose...
Hopefully not. Razia turns her gaze to Aloth and quickly falls silent. She returns her focus on you.
You are the outsider who dealt with Capea, but you do not take the front entrance.
I did not. I was just curious as to what was going on.
I am the Ranga of this tribe, and will not hesitate to send your soul through Tangaloa's maw if you threaten my people.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ranga.
The chosen of Ngati is a welcome sight, I say.
Akira, my thanks to you, dear Ranga, though I bring you no omens this day.
You have the gift of our hospitality during this audience. Do not abuse it.
But will our hospitality be returned?
Sitting forward in her seat, she opens her fist to reveal a plump koiki fruit. She takes a deep, thoughtful bite.
Tekehu, I say we have troubles enough without my people fighting over you.
Akira, just so. I will keep my hands to myself this time.
Oh my. She nods, turning her focus back to you.
The Queen sent you to remind us we are vassals. Is that all?
You recognize the name Theos with the latent key?
Patience. More pressing matters command our attention. You have the peace of this court, but we are not here for idle chatter. You will speak of your intentions. Now.
Okay. Queen Okeza II proposes an alliance with the Waikiki.
Queen. I am thinking you are very free with this meaningless outsider word.
I mean, then what are you?
Foreigners hold the islands upside down, shaking them to loosen their riches. Onikaza gives them comfort. Akira, these are not the actions of a queen.
You don't think she's just biding her time?
Bah! Then she never should have let the foreigners take a step onto Deadfire soil. You think the queen is cunning, but she is on the brink of losing her power.
You're falling into the same trap that the foreigners are, assuming that she's weak on a bias of appearance. Razira opens her mouth to speak out against you, but stops herself.
The Kahanka queen shows her belly so that the enemy will overlook her claws.
Well, there you go.
This is a worthy tactic. Valia and Rawatai are foolish enough to fall for it.
I bet they are.
Before I agree to Onikaza's terms, I must deal with a pest of my own. Not as large as the trading companies, but nearly as vicious.
Okay. I'm assuming you want me to deal with that for you?
You are knowing that the purchase of foreign slaves is allowed in the Deadfire?
I'm familiar with the practice.
To buy and sell kith is the work of monsters.
Indeed it is.
Aye, lass. Few build suckers more monstrous than slave trading build suckers.
She furrows her brow at Sephirin, deciding whether to recognize the sentiment. In the end, she merely nods and returns her focus to you.
These slavers hunt the waters around Ori O Koiki. Like cowards, they shy away from the deeper jungle.
Okay.
They steal my people from their fishing boats and sell them like pigs at auction. Where is Onikaza to stop them?
I mean, I'm right here. I'll help you out.
Someone must teach them the meaning of Wahaki vengeance, I say.
Why do you need outside help for this?
Need? No. Want? Yes. My people risk themselves enough. For someone to earn my favor, they must put the tribe first. They must risk everything for the Wahaki.
Alright, this isn't my fight. Allow me to consider.
This is a poor beginning. But I cannot compel you to action.
Yeah, I didn't really have an option other than that.
Our enterprising foes clump together in a small fortress on the tip of Crookspur Island, northwest of Nekataka.
Okay.
Killing Calic brain, maggot munching, slave selling cog suckers be round about our favourite employment, madam.
Keep your trunk locked behind your teeth, hairy one.
Oh boy, she don't like him.
My love, Aparo, lost his sister to these creatures. Akira, more of us will vanish if we do not cut out the heart of Crookspur.
Okay.
Tangara, call off the warriors. I grant our guest the freedom of the jungle. Even though she does not commit to helping us, Aranga always has hope.
As you say, Ranga.
If you would come and go on Ori O Koiki, prove yourself a friend of the Wahaki.
Okay. All right. I had other questions. Do you recognize the name Theos or Laden Key?
I know only that they clang and clash like foreign names.
Oh, I get to read her soul. Let's try that. You reach into her soul, chasing the spark of recognition. You feel hundreds of births and deaths within her, forming and disappearing like bubbles in boiling water. You sift past all of them, focusing your overwhelmed senses on the memory of a strange foreign man. When at last you seize it, you find yourself in the very same throne room, but the condition of the place and the memory of your host suggests that it's many, many hundreds of years ago, if not more. You're seated on a dais, a man brought before you, dressed in sifting black robes. He reminds you of a corpse dressed for a funeral. He reminds you of something else too, but none of your attendants leans in and interrupts the thought before you can follow. He tells you that this is the man you asked to see, and that his people have been harassing yours. He calls himself Theos ex Akanon. Explain yourself, stranger. He gives you a smile that sets your teeth on edge.
Your Excellency, I come to warn your people. Your presence among these ruins is an affront to the gods.
Oh.
You must remove yourself, lest you face the gods' wrath.
Indeed, the man is an even greater fool than you have been told. The gods surely take their time. We lived here 200 years, and they have yet to raise an objection.
The timeline of the gods is not for mortals to understand. But even their patience shall wear thin, especially after this warning.
Oh, yeah? You certainly feel your patience wearing thin. Who is he, this foreigner, to send your people from their halls and homes? And who is he to tell your people, the survivors, about the wrath of the gods? What ungrateful guests of Ix's hosts. Our ancestors built these places centuries ago. We will not leave. For a moment, this Antaka's facade melts away, and he blinks at you and your attendants. You get the impression that your response surprised him.
But where are these designs among your arts? Where is the carved Adra in your wooden huts?
He's going to skip something there.
These places were not built by the Huana, but by an ancient people from a distant land.
So you say. You knew he was a fool, but now you suspect he's a dangerous one. His words are a lie, but like the very best lies, they contain a shadow of truth. Everyone knows foreigners once lived among your people as guests, but they have not been seen in 200 years. What prickles the back of your neck is the question of how he might know this and why he brings it to you. The murals in these places and the stories of our ancestors tell differently. How would you, a foreigner, know our history better than our own grandfathers?
I have seen your murals, and I know that you will recognize this.
He produces a helm with the two horn-like protrusions and a mask attached. He is correct. You do recognize it. Your guards and attendants gasp. The man Theos smiles more broadly.
It was my people who built these places, and now I come before you bearing their warning.
Okay. At least this much is true. You turn to your guards. Seize him. Just as the look of surprise appears on Theos' face, the ancient Ranga's memory skips ahead. You're looking at Theos once more. This time, however, he and a score of robed men and women are bound amidst the heap of peat and wood. This time, he's staring at you in disbelieving fury. You've gathered your people and told them that the foreigners before them are the same ones who came to the island centuries ago, and now your people are angry and frightened too, because every Waka remembers the story of how those foreigners abused the hospitality of their Huana hosts. So great was their iniquity that the gods destroyed the great city of Okaizo and many other besides. Watch now as I wipe their stain from among us. Her people cheer. Theos struggles to yell, but his words are drowned out. Let us never forget that the foreigner is a trickster and the people a plague. Hundreds of walkies stamp their feet, beat the ground with the butts of their spears. Still Theos scowls and thrashes in protest. From this day forward, we must be vigilant. Let us root out such foreigners and keep our lands pure of wickedness. The tribe cheers louder than ever. Young and old, Maru and Raparu are all united in a purpose. A change seems to come over Theos. The struggle leaves his body and rage departs his face. Good, let him accept his end. One of your attendants offers you a torch. Throw it into the fire. You hurl the torch, the flames spread quickly. The foreigners scream as the fire advances, all except Theos, who looks back at you with a strange smile of satisfaction. You pull back from the memory. The gruesome scene evaporates around you.
Why do you stare so? I know only that they clang and clash like foreign names.
Okay, that's all I can do there. What's the significance of your face paint?
The Wahaki show outsiders that we know their deceitful face.
Okay.
My ancestor knew this face well. She recalled its every hateful curve to the Wahaki histories. We wear the bone-white grimace of our enemies and take power from it.
I came across a ravaged merchant ship not far from here.
Akira, outsiders know better than to draw close to Wahaki lands. We leave the symbol of the War Club as we have for generations. A warning, I say. A reminder.
Okay.
That war club looks like a much older version of the leaden key insignia.
One which goes unheeded.
Okay. This Agwethan ruin makes for a cozy hideout.
Do not speak the name of those who felled mighty Ukaizo. Their spirits are unwelcome.
Fair enough.
We do not hide. We are protecting a way of life that others would trample under their boots. The trading companies would strip the land that the gods gifted us and unmake the works of our ancestors. There is much to protect in the Deadfire. Too much for any single tribe.
Fair enough. All right.
Back there, with the chieftain. Did you see something?
I did.
Yes?
I read an ancient memory of Rasso's soul and found a link to the leaden key. You tell Aloth about the past life you glimpsed in Rosari's soul, long ago meeting with Theos, this warning about the ruins and her decision to execute him, and her mandate to the Waki to defend the territory from outsiders.
That's like what he told the Glanfathans. I'll bet he didn't expect they'd kill him for it. Would have loved to see the look on his face.
Then the Wahaki are the painted masks. They've been serving the Leaden Key's interests for 2,000 years without even knowing it.
Oh my.
Though not, it seems, in the way Theos intended.
People doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons for thousands of years without even realizing it. Doesn't get more leaden key than that.
What are you thinking, Aloth?
Belief is a curious thing. Once, the Wahaki believed they were guarding themselves against the Ingwithans, Theos' people. Yet over time, they became hostile toward all outsiders.
That's kind of a logical extension of what they learned from Theos.
Yes, but it didn't stop there. It's not just that the Wahaki misread Theos' original message. It fundamentally changed them. They went from being a large and well-connected tribe to a much smaller one defined by isolationism.
And this got you thinking again about the consequences of your intervention?
You see all the ninnying I suffer from this lad? Right sure 'tis rattling around in his noggin.
Good grief.
You know me too well. I've been chasing the leaden key, trying to undo the harm they've caused. But what if I'm only making matters worse?
Very well could be.
Might I be to blame? Have I made a grievous mistake in getting involved?
Now, yeah, now if you didn't try at all, you'd be responsible for the harm the laden key causes.
I suppose that's true. It's an intimidating thought, but a heartening one too. Perhaps it was naive to think I could dismantle a 2,000-year-old organization in a single lifetime. But it's worth it to try.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you recovered your sense of purpose.
The strange thing is, this whole ordeal has given me some sympathy for Theos. Not that I condone his actions, of course.
What do you mean by that?
But I can't imagine he thought he'd destroy an entire generation either. Well, not in the beginning, anyway. What I mean to say is, he thought he was doing the right thing. Even at the end.
Theos was wicked. His actions are proof enough of that.
I worry things aren't so simple. Still, perhaps you're right. At any rate, it will be a relief to move forward. It was always too comfortable to leave the hard decisions to others. To simply follow along.
Yeah.
I only wonder now what sort of decision you'll have to make when we finally confront Aethys.
Yeah, me too on that one.
Anyway, thank you. This has lifted a great burden from my shoulders.
Perfect. Let's get going.
I must say, our adventures together have been a welcome change of pace.
Have they?
I know I expressed my doubts about you earlier. I take them all back.
What made you think of that?
When we first met in the Deerwood, you were struggling for your sanity. Now you're fighting for your soul. I can't imagine the weight of that burden. And yet you've borne it, and more remarkably.
It's not as though I have much of a choice.
But you do. The gods have sent you after Aethys, and every power of note in Deadfire has their own plans for you. That puts you in a position of incredible influence.
Yeah, that's true.
I've known you to be a person of rare kindness. Still, I'm pleased to see that you don't take your responsibilities lightly.
Yeah, I'm kind of just making it up as I go along.
Perhaps so. But you must know how many lives hang in the balance. I hope you'll remember this in the days to come.
I'm here for you.
All right. Well, let's
Please
check
don't
this
call
place out a little bit. So let's look at the map. Shrine that way. This is okay. That's actually out to the city. Let's take a peek over this way, see if there's anything of interest.
That mural. That's the same headdress Theos wore.
Mural is quite faded, but you still recognize a distinct silhouette of Theos ex Archon.
Absolutely.
Copper brazier of ashes and burnt hair, layer of soot, and detritus lined blackened cavity. We'll examine it. Among the ashes, you find charred fruit pits, scraps of parchment, shards of pottery, animal bones, and matted bundles of singed hair. I don't know if I want to put a bomb in there.
I would pray louder if it kept outsiders away from Ori O Koiki. I say Ruasare would not like it if I denied you hospitality.
How are you and Tangra getting along?
Poorly. He ventures away from our islands and invites the wrath of the gods, I say. May Ngati devour that outsider construct he dragged back with him.
Okay.
I keep the gods at bay. The tribe balances on the edge of ruin. And my burnt offerings appease those who watch over us. Godlessness raised the Green Man, and the gods will put him back down, I say.
Oh, I'd say that statue has more than its share of God in it.
For what does your crew of misfits address me?
Okay. His unique name, so we had to check. Maybe he gave us a little additional side quest. He did mention someone having like a construct with him. And there it is.
Patrol, I say! Accursed rust bucket! Outsider, Unlike Barapo, I do not use this as a term of offense, I say. We do not see many visitors on Ori O Koiki. Those who come seldom leave.
What you mean by that?
They come asking our Ranga to show her belly in surrender. Instead, she shows them their guts at the end of a spear.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on Baparu?
How he fills our home with the stink of his burnt offerings. A rational mystic burns incense or candles, but Burapo burns Koiki, rotten meat, and bundles of hair.
Sounds like fun.
Nothing is spared his flame if it appeases the gods.
Barapo told me that your construct had fallen on hard times?
Ikera, he talks too much. A valuable lesson about animancy, I say. There is quality and there is cheap, but never both.
Fair enough.
The rust bucket does not follow my instructions and ignores my command words.
Now I can take a look at it for you.
I am appreciating the offer, but it is better if I learn how to operate my degraded friend.
Okay.
I would be a poor host if the ironclad thing decided to remove your skin.
If there's a problem with the logical reckoning, there's a danger of it misunderstanding. Just failing to understand. Pursing his lips, Tucker looks grudgingly impressed.
Akira, then consider yourself free to tinker away at my rusted doll.
Okay.
Here, the command words. They do me little good.
I can mess with this thing. Trap the soul energy at the construct's core. Speak the words of the command scroll. I'm not sure about that, because this might be another one of the opportunities to sabotage around here. Let's leave that alone for now. And unfortunately, that is going to have to be the end of the episode. We'll finish exploring around, see if there's any other quests we can collect. And thank you all so very much for watching. Have a good one. We'll do that exploring in the next one, obviously.